Yes, people. So another of the mind series that I'll be starting. Just starting to really hone in on the mental side of the game a lot more. One player asked me the sessions that you do. If you had to do a percentage, what are they? I said with non-league players, there's a lot of IQ and a lot of technical. When it comes to the pros that I do sessions with, it's a more psychological, mind strengthening mindset. That area is different because most of them have the tech. Most of them obviously they have great physical condition. They've got the facilities and everything. IQ. You probably got one or two IQ, but majority is the mind, and that's where I don't care what you do technically. I don't care what you do physically. If your mind is not being worked on at the same pace and same effort that you're putting in the technical ball sessions you're doing, the physical sessions you're doing in the gym, then that means that you're building yourself up to only tap into a bit of your potential. So in this session today, we're going to talk about something called fight, flight, and freeze. Okay, these are the three areas that I can tell you from now that separates an elite player versus somebody who is a very good player or a very average player in that sense. And when I mean average player, I'm not talking about the way they play. I'm saying that they could be such and such if they can do this, if they'll be more direct, or if they'll be more aggressive, if they stop shying away from tackles. So this is what we're going to be talking about today, is these three responses, which whenever you are put in a high pressure situation on the pitch, every professional football player and even non-league player, you will tap into one of these mindsets. So let's get straight into it. Freeze. Okay, so freeze is the one that a player shuts down under pressure. All right, their thinking becomes cloudy, their movements will become slow, they react poorly or not even at all, and these are the signs. All right, so number of signs that you are in a freeze mode is you hesitate. All right, and noticeable delay. All right, in decision making, which often leads to missed tackles or poor passes. I see this a lot with a lot of centre backs. Balls bounce and they let the ball bounce, hesitating. Okay, even other areas of the pitch. As a winger, you've got 1v1. The ball gets stuck in your feet, hesitating. Don't want to beat the guy on the outside. Tunnel vision as well is another one. All right, where a player just only thinks about themselves, or let's say the ball only, and just ignore the surrounding players and the game situation. So they're not feeding the flow of the game. All right, instead of you passing, you should be driving. Instead of you driving, you should be passing, etc. All right, and also physical stiffness. Players appearing to be tense. This is something that I know a lot of players do a lot of massages to games, not just to massage their muscles, but it helps just to get all that tension out of their muscles and make them move a lot more fluid. The second one is flight. Now, this is the second level. So this is where a lot of players are. All right, I'll say the most average players that are, in need of help, this is where they're sitting. And this is where a player, when yourself as a player, mentally or even physically withdrawing from challenges. All right, so you may avoid contact, make passive plays, or just generally seem disengaged. Like if you're a player that you're like, I'm here on the pitch, but my mind is on where I'm going to eat. I'm meant to go to Crab House tomorrow, or whatever. If your mindset's like that, you're in flight mode. You're not present. And so most players that I do sessions with, they avoid contact, shy away from tackles or physical challenges. So that's something that has to be dealt with straight away. Or you're too passive, often passing too much. Your center midfielder, you're playing sideways, but you're not breaking lines. All right, you don't want to take risks. All right, and also just a lack of generally just want to take charge of the game. You're attacking player, you can feel the game needs a little spark, but there's something in you just don't want to do it. All right, being too passive or even disengaged. If you are mentally also, like I said earlier, on the pitch, but you're thinking about, oh, tomorrow we've got, tonight I want to play Call of Duty with my mates. That's another, you're not even present. All right, so this is the next area of fight. Now is where a lot of the professionals or the elite pros, and we put a category because there's a difference between elite and professional. The elite players who I can say that they knocked in 100+ Premier League appearances for their club, etc. All right, there's something that they have that's different. And one of the things that I've noticed is they are confident in the decision making process that they make at that time. And the making of that decision making is very quick. This is fight mode, by the way. All right. So they're very decisive with their choices, clear understanding of the role and options. All right. Number two is their aggressions are controlled. Okay, whether that be physically and assertively, but within the rules of the game without making unnecessary risk. A good example of that is somebody like Gabriel for Arsenal, centre back. Always, when he first started from Arsenal, I would say the aggression was controlled, but it wasn't as controlled as it is now. All right. Then you got mental toughness. All right. This is probably the biggest area where they can maintain focus and concentration and composure under pressure throughout the duration of 90 minutes. Okay. And bounce back quickly from making mistakes. The amount of players, okay, that I do session with, and they make two mistakes. And this is the thing: you may say, "Oh, I make one bad mistake and I can brush it off." How about two? Do you brush it off then? Or how about three? Everybody has a bounce back threshold, and there is exercises that I do, all right, privately with the players in the session that we do to test their bounce back level gauge. Okay, because you're going to make a lot of mistakes in your career, and how you bounce back determines whether you have the motivation and your stamina to keep going or just tap out. So what are the three areas would you say? How do you transition from, to become a fight player? All right. Number one is what I do, not often, but we go through mental rehearsals. Okay, so that's visualization, successful scenarios. And also number two is tackle the foundation of whatever the problem is. Okay, it could be concentration. So I do a lot of like a brain training test that I do that allows one of the attributes, whether it's speed processing information, focus, concentration. There's another thing as well that I've done, mental flexibility. That's right, just to check where you are, all right, in that area. And there's also self-talk strategy. Self-talk's become a big popular one that has actually seen very good results. So let's say, for example, you make a mistake. Instead of you saying, "I'm going to mess this up," you should be replacing that with, "I'm ready, I've got this." That's even on the pitch. You've probably seen videos of Ronaldo talking to himself before he takes a free kick and penalty. That's something that is very, very helpful that you can even start today. All right. And the third one is also breathing, mindfulness, something that you've probably seen LeBron James do before he goes on the pitch. He sits down, takes a couple of deep breaths. A lot of players like Steph Curry is getting involved in that in terms of breathing and relaxing their body to try and get into that state. But these are the generic stuff. Obviously, this is stuff that I will recommend for you to do. But there is other areas that I like to do that have seen results in terms of just developing that mentality. But hopefully this helps, and let's just keep going as people.